till the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good midnight, whatever your case may be. Good morning. This is Coach Sherry, Reverend Sherry, Chaplain Sherry, your community pastor Sherry. This is Sherry from the 800 block of Mooney Avenue. I pray that your night was a good one, that you did not have any bad news in the night. And those who did, which I did see in my social media feed this morning, that there are some prayer requests for some miracles. So we certainly want to pray for those families. Listen, it is a season of darkness. I know that we are expressing, during this season, joy and festivities and merries, but the truth of the matter is, it is not a merry, happy for all people. Listen, if you have been following me during this season, there is a disclaimer that I have to make. Although I am doing my makeup at this time, this has nothing to do with makeup. Don't follow me for makeup techniques, tools, or products. However, I am trying out two new brushes. I am trying out two new brushes, one for contour and another one for foundation. Now listen, because I am bald, and so it has to be a, when you have hair, you have that natural hairline, but because I don't have that, you will see me coming up in here to with my foundation and stuff, trying to get a smoother look. But listen, that's just for me and my bald head, and I picked that up from some of my friends in YouTube and all of that. So today we are talking about we are continuing to talk about Mary, and Mary is now in about starting with verses about 45, 46 to the end, 55. She has burst into song. She is singing as a form of resistance. Let's just sit that right there. She is singing as a form of resistance. What is she resisting? What is she raising a noise about? Because singing is to raise a noise. And so Mary is resisting. She is resisting the fear. She is resisting the complexities around it. She is resisting the fact that her current circumstances look a little shaky. They look a little shaky. But her song that she comes forth with is resisting what is, because she knows, and she has been promised that her next is going to be better than her current. Isn't that something? Singing is sometimes a form of resistance, because let's just be honest about, a lot of times when we sing, we are singing about things that we don't have, but we believe is coming. Yeah, that we believe is coming. So by the time the prologue to Mary's song is, the introduction to her song is, She self-describes herself. She self-describes as a lowly servant. She self-describes as a lowly servant. One, low status. She doesn't have much. She doesn't come for much. She never expected much. Society told her she wasn't anything. Her social economic status, dictates that she's not. But with the help of Elizabeth, Mary, has now got the courage. She now has believed what God says about her, that she is highly favored. That she is highly favored. That she has been chosen to bring forth a child that is going to be the great liberator. Good morning, everybody. When you come in, just greet me and say good morning. We are continuing our Advent reflections through the eyes of Mary. And we are at the point where Mary is singing a song of resistance. Mary says, I am a lowly servant. I don't deserve this. My pedigree does not dictate, but some way God chooses her. God chooses Mary despite her social location in life. Do you know that that's good news this morning? That's good news in darkness. That it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter your status in life. When God chooses you, when God remembers your name, when God remembers your tears, when God remembers all of who you are, where you've been, what you have and you do not have, and God chooses you for an assignment that the world would not have chosen you. Mary, she understands her social location, but she came to the point that she began to see what God saw in her. She began to speak the words that God was speaking about her. I think there's something there. That Mary understood where she came from, but then she picked up the fact that, and she began to speak the language that God was speaking about her, that she was highly favored. Somebody needs to hear that this morning. Yes, it may be true that you don't come from an influential family. Yes, it is true that you may not have come from a family of wealth, or you have acquired wealth, that you don't have the right pedigree, that you didn't go to the right schools, that you don't even live in the right places, and you don't even go to the right churches based on society standards. But God sees you not for who you are now. God sees you for who God has destined you to be. That's the kind of world that Mary came from. Mary gave in to the fact that God had indeed chosen her. Not because she was special, because she says in the text, basically she answers her questions of how can this be? Because God's mighty works. It is God's mighty works that this has come to be. Are you not moving forward in what God has chosen you for, because you still are seeing where you are and you're still seeing yourself as a lowly servant when God has indeed called you highly favored? And because you still see yourself as others see you, instead of how God sees you, you never move toward the assignment. Now, if you are just joining me for the very first time, don't follow me with these makeup tips, because I'm kind of like all over the place. I just kind of like do my thing. I kind of do my thing. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. How do you see yourself? Are you still seeing yourself as not worthy of the assignment? Are you still seeing yourself as the lowly servant? Because if you are, that means that you are not ready to move forward. Because Mary gave into, she began to see herself as God saw her. She burst into song and she celebrates. It is God who has chosen her for this task. Many people may be wondering, how in the world you doing what it is that you are doing? How is it that you are doing this? You're in this position. How it is that you are in boardrooms. How it is that you have a doctorate degree. How it is that you are standing before thousands and thousands when you come from the 800 block of Mooney Avenue. How is it that you are able to do what you are doing and you are just a lowly servant? It is because of God's great acts toward us. Can you see what God sees about you? Can you then begin to change your language about you so that you can go forth and do the extraordinary assignment? The world is waiting for you. You see, the world needed what Mary was bringing forth. The world needed. And if you continue to read the lyrics to Mary's song, which is akin to Hannah, the same song that Hannah sang in 1 Samuel 2, begin to sing your song. Begin to raise a noise. Begin to sing in protest of your right now. because you know that you are carrying something, someone, some service that the world needs. I don't know what it is, but I do know it begins with you changing your language about you. Begin to say what God is saying about you. No longer the lowly servant. That may be how God found you. That may have been the state that you were in when God found you. But when God does a work and when God calls you, when God has an assignment for you, God doesn't see you as a lowly servant. God sees you as highly favored. Y'all be blessed and may